What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. I'm Ivan Calderon, and today we are making a beat. Okay, so let's break this beat down. Now, much like with all of my production, when I come into the studio, I don't really know specifically what melodies I'm going to play. I kind of figure it out as I go, but I do have an idea of what kind of beat or what type of beats I wanted to make. Now, for this one, I knew that I wanted to make some sort of smooth, melancholic, slow, vibey R&B type of beat, so I started out with an electric piano. Now, the electric piano that I use is actually from a Kontakt library called Vintage Keys, and I believe this is one of the default ones you get when you buy Complete, but the preset is called Breakfast in New York. Now, for the chord progression, I'm playing a lot of minor 9th and 7th chords, and that again sounds like this. And it just kind of repeats. Now, one thing that I did here is that a lot of times, because I do record a lot of my stuff by hand with my keyboard, I sometimes hit it a little too hard. So what I did is I took all the notes and I lowered the velocity to around 50% to kind of give it that smooth vibe. Now, once we had the chord progression down, I moved away from the melodic section and went on to the drums because I wanted to make sure those were done right. So moving on to the drums, the first one that I added was a closed hat number 1, and that one was more of a synthetic hat. Now, this one's playing 16th notes at full velocity, and that sounds like this. From there, I added a second hat. Now this one's more of a live sounding hat. And then I took every other note, lowered the velocity to 50% to kind of create that chugging motion. And essentially with these two hats, I have one, a live sounding hat that kind of provides that chugging feel that kind of pushes you along throughout the beat. And then I have a more synthetic kind of trap hat that provides a little bit of that top line. So together, we get this. And it's very subtle, but if I take out the first hat, that's what that sounds like. From there, we added a snare, and that's happening on every 2 and 4. And then what I did to make it a little bit more interesting is I added also a snap and a clap. Now, if we take a look, this is my snare here, and again, hitting on every 2 and 4. We add the clap in, and we see that that's happening on every other snare hit. And then finally, the snap is happening at the beginning of every measure. So that sounds like this. And again, this is just to kind of break up the monotony of the snare hitting consistently throughout the measure and to kind of spice things up. Now, finishing off the drums, we just had a crash to kind of introduce the sections, and then an open hat to kind of fill in the gaps, and finally the kick. So we get this. Now, once the drums were done, I went back to the melodic section and I started to add a few more things. The first thing that I added was a lead, and what I did there was I took the electric piano that I used to play the chords, sent it to a higher octave, and played this. So to finish off the melodic top line, I added a vocal chop from Chords. Now, Chords is a VST from Loopmasters and one that I've reviewed here on the channel, so I'm gonna link it up top there. But essentially, it's the female keys preset, and once I kind of, laid it across the keyboard and kind of played it in key, it sounds like this. The last two things that I added to this beat were some basses. Now the first bass sounds like this. Very kind of 80s vibe, and it's following the bass lines that I played on the piano chords. Now I like this bass, but it didn't have enough low end, so what I did was I found another bass that had more sub tendencies, duplicated the pattern from the first bass, and then got this. Now that second bass, so you guys can hear it, sounds like this. So again, when you kind of mix them together, pull in all the instruments, and once again, once you kind of add the drums back in, this is the entire beat. But that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Now, real quick, someone in a comment in a previous beat making video said that maybe I should start arranging these beats for you guys in these videos as well. Now, so far I've been making them and kind of breaking them down, but if arrangement is something that you'd like to see, please let me know. Maybe I can break it down and arrange it, or maybe just arrange it. In any case, whatever your preference is, let me know in a comment down below. But again, thank you so much for watching. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you're not already. But I'll see you guys on the next one.